What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Kimberly Janelle, your favorite tax strategist, tax nerd, CEO of the Entrepreneurs Business Club, here with another of the 475 tax deductions that I am combing through in this book. I want to talk to you about one that I think is super duper important, and that is your spouse. Okay? So, how does your spouse, what role does your spouse play in regards to your business? So, I want to share some things with you that I found in this book, and also just my own research and things in regards to your spouse. So I often recommend to people that when they are setting up their business, when they're choosing to do an LLC, I recommend to them to do a single member LLC. Do not list your spouse as owner of the business on the documentation. Why do I say that? For a multitude of reasons. First of all, and this just kind of confirmed it for me, as far as federal income tax laws, the IRS sees your spouse as a part owner of the business anyway, whether they're on the documentation when the business is created or not. The IRS considers your spouse part owner of the business. Now, let me go back and define what I mean by spouse. The IRS defines a spouse as anyone who is legally married. They do not recognize spouse if you're not legally married. And that varies by state, right? Some states honor common law marriage. Some states don't. So as far as the IRS is concerned, if your state recognizes it as marriage, then they recognize it as marriage. Okay? So that's the first thing. Legally married people, and I'm reading this to you from this book. In many states, spouses are legally considered equal owners of all property and assets acquired by either spouse while they're married, and that includes businesses. So, if your spouse is considered legally equal owner of the business, then Kim, why do I need to not put my spouse on the paperwork when I form the business? Well, here's why. Just because they are considered equal owners of the business, if you do not list them as an owner on the paperwork, you can hire them as an employee. And let me tell you the benefit of hiring them as an employee. You hire your spouse as an employee. Let's say your spouse works at a hospital. They receive all the benefits, the health insurance benefits, that sort of thing for the family, right? You are the entrepreneur. Your spouse has a W-2 job. That's where your medical insurance comes through. When you hire your spouse as an employee in the business, now your business has the ability to reimburse this employee, your spouse, for any medical expenses that are incurred for the spouse and her family. So you basically can create a plan where your medical expenses are reimbursed and you don't pay any medical expenses out of pocket. So let me break this down for you. There is a thing called medical reimbursement plan that a self-employed individual can create. It will be a document. It wouldn't be something that you just make up, right? So you create this document and you say, we will reimburse all medical expenses, out-of-pocket medical expenses, to any of our employees that they incur through the calendar year. And you can put a cap on it. You can say up to $10,000 a year. You need to have a process in place as to how the employee would submit that the receipt of that payment, and then you reimburse the employee. I almost said spouse. It is your spouse. You reimburse the employee. They get their money back. So your wife takes your child to the dentist. You find out that you need to have braces installed on your child's teeth. And these braces cost $1,200. Well, in your medical reimbursement plan, which you will say we will reimburse medical, dental, out-of-pocket expenses, she pays the $1,200. You all pay the $1,200, and she submits the receipt to you to be reimbursed. You take the $1,200 out of your business account and reimburse her for that out-of-pocket expense. And then you get to write off the medical expenses that you reimbursed your employee, which means that you basically get free health care, health insurance, the entire time. Now, if you create your business, if you set your business up and put your spouse as part owner on the documentation, you then cannot make them an employee. They are considered an owner because of the documentation that you used when you set up the business, okay? You have to make sure that you set yourself up as the owner, and then you hire your spouse. Now, let me tell you the risks that you have here with doing that. The same as with when you hire your children. You have to do the absolute same with your spouse. So you have to have a hire letter. You have to say what their responsibilities will be in the business, because the IRS does, they kind of pay attention to this because of the loopholes that can be created with hiring your spouse. Sometimes people hire their spouses just so they can use those strategies, and the spouses are not actually working in the business. So you have to have a hire letter. You have to have a letter that states what your spouse will be doing, what their responsibilities are, how much they will be getting paid for those, how often they will be getting paid, and you have to keep a timesheet. Okay? It substantiates your spouse as an employee, and then it also helps to make sure that when you do the medical reimbursement and you write those things off, your spouse is a legitimate employee of the business. Okay? Super dope strategy that I was excited to share with you. And you'll have to let me know if you incorporate it, okay? So if you need any help with it, let me know. If you incorporate it and can see where the tax savings are coming, let me know. I would love to hear about it, because it is definitely my goal to help you get and keep all of your money, because it is yours and you deserve it. All right? Until next time.